What's good, Commanders fans? Rough outing last night, but already recapped the game, talked about that. But once again, head up high this whole off season. Like, we have nothing to hang our heads about. I mean, we had an awesome season, an incredible season. Excuse me, to go from 4-13 to 12-5 to 14-6. I mean, that's just an incredible season to go from not having a franchise quarterback to getting one in year one, a rookie quarterback, rookie of the year in Jaden Daniels, and having a legitimate head coach and front office, GM, Adam Peters. I mean, like, this is just, nobody would have thought that. Over under being 6.5, we end up winning 14, 16 games over 14 games over the season. The Cardiac Commanders, in the fashion that we won games and blowing out, or not blowing out, but dominating the Lions in their house like that in the divisional round. I mean, heck of a season, man. Heck of a season. Like I said last night, I just love how the fan base came out for sure. Don't want to call it a sleeping giant, but that's just what it's been for the last 20-something years under previous ownership. It has been a sleeping giant for sure. So nothing but just to keep your head up high for sure. So this video, of course, I wanted to do my annual who should stay, who should go. I do this every season after the season ends, and this is my latest time ever doing who should stay, who should go, and then of course mock draft content and who should we sign as free agent content. This is the latest that I've ever done it, and I'm so happy I haven't had to do it until the end of January. This is just awesome because we're usually doing it in December and the first week of January. That's usually when we're doing these types of videos. Who should we sign and who should we draft and salary cap space and coaching targets and stuff like that. That's the content we usually do in January and early January, late December. That's who should we try to trade for, stuff like that. That's what we usually do. I'm so happy I didn't have to do any of that content at all in October and November. So we're so accustomed to doing that stuff. So this is just awesome to wait to do this. So all that aside, let's start with Bobby Wagner, man. 35 years old, all-time, 10-time All-Pro? Some did 9-time All-Pro. Just ridiculous amount of All-Pros. Has he slowed down? Yes, he has. People keep talking about the Saquon 60-yard run where he got tripped up and, he just wasn't quick enough, sideline to sideline, stuff like that, which is all true, but I would bring him back. He had a 69.8 PFF grade yesterday. He had a 88.8 PFF grade, which was third among linebackers, 90.7 run defense grade, which was second among linebackers, 90.6 pass rush grade, which was second among linebackers, 5.0% missed tackle rate, which was third lowest among linebackers. So he's a leader of the team. He is one of the hearts and soul. Frankie Louvu, really, if you want to say somebody's the heart and soul of the defense, you could basically say Frank. I love what Frankie did when he dived over there and just punched Jalen Hurts in the head. I love when he did that. But yeah, I mean, if you want to say he's one of the captains for sure, one of the team leaders, all that stuff, like he sets the tone for sure. Got to the quarterback a good amount of time this year too. Like the pass rush grade, it shows up for sure. He was getting to the quarterback, and I love when Bobby Wagner was taunting Deshaun Watson when we blew them out. He was like nodding in front of him when Deshaun Watson was on the ground. That was pretty hilarious. So overall, Bobby had a good season. I mean, and the fumble that he picked up against the Buccaneers, we don't win that game if he doesn't recover that fumble. We know how important recovering fumbles are because we have a knack of not doing it. We have a knack of dropping interceptions. We have a knack of not diving on the fumble. With other teams, they just get so quickly on the fumble for whatever reason. Sometimes it's harder to do it, and it's easier if guys are there. But, the Philly game, they recovered every fumble. Each and every fumble we had, they picked it up. So Bobby landing on that fumble was very, very crucial and very, very important for sure. How many sacks did he have on the year? He had 2 sacks. Yeah, he had 2 sacks. I feel like he had more than that. But he had 2 sacks. He had 132 tackles, which is just what he does. And 10 tackles for loss, 8 quarterback hits. He had a good season. He had a darn good season. But do we need more speed at the linebacker position? Sure. Let's see what Jordan McGee can do. He's a big mentor for Jordan McGee. If you look at Dominique Hampton, he's been a big mentor for Dominique Hampton. He has a great relationship with Jaden Daniels, has a great relationship with Jaden Daniels' mom. You see them going to the Wizards game together. So they joke around all the time and stuff like that. Him and Jaden joke around and make fun of each other. So was with Dan Quinn for a couple of years with the Seahawks. Ken Norton is the linebackers coach. I know Pete Carroll's with the Raiders. Somebody last night tweeted out, oh, they think Bobby Wagner's going to leave and go to the Raiders. I highly doubt he would go to a team that has zero chance of even making the playoffs, in my opinion, with the Raiders. And who knows who they sign. And I'm not going to say that because look at what we did. Everybody says zero chance for the Commanders to make the playoffs. So I'm not going to just rag on the Raiders. I know they hire Pete Carroll to be their head coach. So I could see Bobby going there. But at the same time, why would he leave when you just had a great season with the Commanders and Dan Quinn, a guy you're very, very familiar with, and a quarterback that you really get along with in Jaden Daniels that you have a great relationship with? So I don't see him leaving. I see him coming back for 1 year, one last hurrah. And then after that, I could see him being like a Ryan Kerrigan, being a coach if he wants to do that. I know he could go into broadcasting or whatever he wants to do. But I know I'm taking a long time on Bobby Wagner. I'm going to have to sift through and just quickly go through these free agents. There's so many free agents we have because it's year one, and we signed so many guys to 1 year deals. But I would bring back Bobby. He's on a $6.5 million deal, so I'd probably throw him the same amount of money. I mean, we got the money to do it. He played 99% of the snaps. Marcus Mariota's next. I think we all can agree to bring him back. $6 million deal, 32 years old, came in, played well against the Panthers, came in, played well against the Cowboys. Has been a great mentor to Jaden Daniels. You look at the Falcons game when Jaden Daniels was gassed and Marcus was like, stand up on your feet. Get your air up under you. I forgot the other words. I'm paraphrasing, but basically he said, just get it done. And Jaden Daniels got it done. So Marcus Mariota, I think he's a really good mentor. He's a guy that fits the scheme with the mobility, the dual threat ability that he has. So I would bring him back. Jeremy Chin, bring him back. 27 years old, $4 million. Jeremy Chin got the big interception against the Lions. He tackled better throughout the season. At first, it was rough. The Buccaneers game was rough tackling. The Giants game was rough tackling. The Bengals game, he woke up and played better on Monday Night Football. And then ever since then, he tackled a lot better. And he was making plays. So I would bring back Jeremy Chin. Let me look at some of his stats real quick just to go off. I thought him and Quan Martin played pretty well together in spots and spurts. He had 2 sacks on the season, a forced fumble. Did he have any interceptions? He had 1 interception on the season. He had 1 forced fumble, 5 pass deflections, and 2 fumble recoveries. He had the fumble recovery against the Giants. He had a pick against the Steelers. He had a pick against the Steelers. He had a pick against the Lions as well in the playoffs. So I would bring Jeremy Chin back. Thought he played well in the second half of the season for sure. So there were some things that I did like from him. Like I said, the first half was rocky. Excuse me, rocky. But after that, he played better. And he did struggle yesterday in coverage too. But hey, I would bring him back on a $4 million deal, probably similar. We'll see. He may get paid more somewhere else. KJ Osborne, not bringing him back. He only played 1 game. He got a penalty. He had more penalties than catches and yards. He had more penalties than catches and yards. Cleveland Farrell, I wouldn't mind bringing him back. He's on a cheap deal, $3 million deal. I thought he did a solid job slowing down the run game. Had a couple good pass rush reps. So I would bring him back as a backup. You do need to improve at the edge rusher spot, but I wouldn't mind bringing him back on a cheap deal. A lot of people are on favorable deals, so it's not like we're breaking the bank. Tressway, of course, you got to bring him back. He has more passing yards than Dak Prescott in the NFC Championship games or something. Somebody tweeted that out, and that's insane. Tressway has more passing yards than Dak Prescott in the NFC Championship round. Dante Fowler, definitely bringing him back. He had double-digit sacks this year. Incredible season for him. This was the best season of his career. So I'm definitely bringing back Dante Fowler. He brings some physicality and toughness to the team. Does he get face mask penalties, phantom face mask penalties, and roughing the passer? Does need to work on that, but he had 10.5 sacks on the season. He had a pick 6, 2 forced fumbles. He should be a Pro Bowler. He really should. He should be in the Pro Bowl. It's ridiculous he's not in the Pro Bowl. Rapid fire here. Michael Davis, no. You already know that. No Yak Zach, yes. Zach had a great season this year. Does he provide Yak? No. Mobility? No. But does he move the chains, get first downs? Yes. Cornelius Lucas, yes. Bring him back as the backup swing tackle for sure. Michael Dieter, left guard, center. Not great at center, but I would bring him back on a cheap deal as a depth piece, practice squad guy. Same thing with Trent Scott. Noah I, yes. Bring him back. Played well in spots as a inside slot corner. Played well on the outside. Did he get beat? Yes. He did get beat sometimes, yes, for sure. But he was huge on the pick 6 to Quan Martin that he got. Tom Brady pointed out that Noah I did a great job being in his spot and forced Jared Goff to overthrow the football. Noah I was good, man. Like I said, there's some other stats I can bring up of Noah Igbenogbe of like coverage and stuff like that. but I just don't have the numbers up here right now. But Noah, he played well, man. I thought he had a good season for sure. His name is so it's a cool name. It's a cool name for sure. It's a cool name. So trying to bring up some stats for him real quick. But yes, I would bring him back. I would bring him back. Is he CB1, CB2? No, but he's a good slot corner, and he's a good, CB3 for sure. So I would bring him back. I wouldn't mind bringing him back. All right, next on the list, Olamide Zaccheaus. Honestly, I'm kind of on the fence with him. He had a couple of good games. The Falcons game, he was good. The Eagles game, he was good. But he's had some big drops. He had a big drop in the Falcons game. He had a big drop in the Ravens game. He had a big drop in the Cowboys game that should have been a touchdown, but then he redeemed himself. So I'm kind of iffy. I'm not really pressed on bringing him back. He was on a $1 million deal. So like I said, a lot of these guys are just guys that, like, if you bring him back, it doesn't hurt. But if you don't bring him back, if you bring him back, it doesn't hurt. If you don't bring him back, it doesn't hurt either. So that's kind of how I am with a lot of these free agents. So Ben St. Juste, no. I think we all can agree on that. Jameson Crowder, I would love to bring him back, but like I said, it's not going to really – the wide receiver room is going to be crowded, guys. Like, I haven't got to Noah Brown or Dyami Brown. Yes. Dyami Brown, yes, I would bring him back for the playoff run just because if he didn't play the way he did in the playoffs, then I would let him walk. But the way that he played in the playoffs, it's like you got to bring him back. Noah Brown, I would love to bring him back too, but like I said, you're going to bring it. So Terry's going to be here next year. Dyami's going to be here next year. Luke's going to be here next year. You're going to have to draft. I would draft a receiver and sign a receiver in free agency. So that's a Terry, draft, free agent, 3, Luke 4, Dyami 5, and then you're only going to keep 6 or 7. So let's say you keep Jameson, right? That's 6. Olamide 7. Noah Brown would be out of there, or you keep Noah Brown. Olamide or Jameson is going to be cut, and they're not. Those guys are not practice. They can be on a practice squad, but they're veterans where they're going to be on a 53-man roster. So the wide receiver room is going to be very crowded, and it needs to be. It needs to be. We have to get a legitimate wide receiver number 2 in the building. Noah Brown at best can be my wide receiver, or not wide receiver number 3. Same thing with Dyami. They cannot be our wide receiver number 2 next year. It is what it is. They just can't. And I like Dyami. I love what he did the last 2 games or last 3 games of the year, the playoffs, other than the fumble. But you have to upgrade. You have to give Jaden better receivers. You have to give him better weapons. You have to give him better running backs. You have to surround Jaden with talent before he gets this big deal, this big money contract. So I'm on the same wavelength with Noah, Dyami. I'm on the same wavelength. I like a lot of things that Noah did. I like a lot of things that Dyami did towards the end of the season. Noah was more consistent than Dyami, I'll say that. But when Dyami peaked, his peak was better than what Noah did. No, I don't think Noah had a 97-yard game the whole season. Like, no knock on Noah, but of course he had the Hail Mary, so he'll go down in history for that, like forever and ever and ever. He has some big catches too. He did a good job of forcing pass interference. Pass interferences. He was awesome at that. That was one thing that he did a really good job of. He did a great job. Contesting catches, he was solid. He had a couple drops here and there. The highest yards he got in the game was 71. Dyami had 89 against the Bucks, and he had 90 yards against the Lions. So 2 games, Dyami came in and surpassed the yardage that Noah got his season high in 1 game. In like 2 games, he surpassed it. So that's why I'm just like Dyami, Noah, Dyami, Noah, Dyami, Noah. You can kind of like weigh them, and you got to make. Adam's got to make a decision. If he lets them both walk, and let's say he signs Chris Godwin and signs T. Higgins or something like that. I mean, that's not realistic. But let's say he gets T. Higgins and drafts a guy, and he lets both these guys walk, and then bring in some other guys that are like 5th or 6th type receivers. Then I wouldn't be mad at that. You have Terry, T, a draft pick, Luke, and then I guess you keep Dyami and Noah as your 5th and 6th guy. I mean, I think that would probably be best case scenario for revamping the wide receiver room. Nick Ballore, yes. Special teams ace, bring him back. Sheldon Day, yes, bring him back. Jeff Driscoll, bring him back. Practice squad 3rd string. Jeremy McNichols, I would let him walk because you got to revamp the running back room. You got to get better guys in there. It is what it is. You got to get better. I wouldn't mind bringing him back, but the fumble definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. The kick return fumble, and he had a good season. Chris Rodriguez had a good season. B-Rob had a good season, even though he wasn't consistent. He had a good season. B-Rob had a good season, in my opinion. Was it good enough? No. Did he have a good season? Yes. Was it good enough? No. You have to upgrade the position for sure. Zane Gonzalez, Austin Seibert, they can walk, in my opinion. Maybe Zane. That's about it. Jalen Holmes from Norfolk. I would bring him back. He had like 2 sacks on the season. He played well. Michael Walker, special teams. John Bates, yes, bring him back because he's our best blocking tight end. Derek Forrest, I would let him walk. Let him spread his wings somewhere else and revamp his career. Chris Rodriguez, I would bring him back. Or if you're going to keep playing around with him and yanking him from the practice squad and whatnot, let him walk. Let him spread his wings somewhere else. Casimir Allen, let him walk. Haggy Chisholm Nadubuzi, right guard, I guess practice squad or whatever. So that's it for the free agent, guys. You guys let me know what you guys think. If you disagree or whatever free agents you guys would bring back, please let me know. And definitely leave it down in the comments as you guys always. I know somebody's going to comment, oh, you're the GM, or you're the guy that makes decisions. I know somebody's going to comment that. So just get it out the way now. But as always, guys, I'll be making another video later today, maybe about Marshawn Lattimore. And I should be going live around 7:30 tonight, too, just to chop it up with you guys. Vibe check, all that. Definitely want to do an end of the year vibe check. As always, hello, Commanders. Peace.